to a new platform. The original site had been built in like 6 or 7 weeks, so it was kind of a kludge.
Yeah.
And so they essentially, when I joined the company a year ago, I don't have any Cold Fusion background. I'm a PHP developer.
Oh, okay, great.
So I was brought in about a year ago. I was with Patrick shortly thereafter to help facilitate this re-implementation of the site in PHP. So we're not so much porting the existing software into PHP. We're re-implementing it using kind of the interfaces of the old system as a guideline.
Right. Yeah. Re-architecting and migrating.
So the new site is all built in AWS.
Okay.
It's now a 3-tiered architecture instead of a 2-tiered. So there's a front-end application, there is a services network, and then there's the CMS.
Okay, great. So a front-end services network and CMS. Great. Regarding AWS, just a quick note. I have experience with AWS, but more specifically, I have experience with HPC clustering and kind of the base technologies that AWS is actually built on. One being Zen hypervisors, which AWS, that's kind of how they got to the market using Zen, which was open sourced by Citrix just a few months ago, actually. So regarding anything virtualization, I'm not sure how it scales for you, but anything that would be run into, including also the frameworks that are available for AWS, I code in the AWS SDK for PHP, and I'm pretty familiar with AWS as well as other cloud solutions. But awesome. So the site
go ahead.
The site scales extremely well with Cold Fusion. I mean, it seems very responsive and quite fast.
Right. It's not Cold Fusion though. They actually kind of they have a little trick where they
cache.
They don't even cache. They flatten the site out into HTML.
Oh, okay, that makes total sense. Okay, cool.
It's updated every few minutes.
Okay.
By a back-end process.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like the kind of traffic that you get, that's just cool.
Yeah. Right.
So we're using a lot of newer technologies. We actually manage our entire application stack in PHP using Composer. We host our own Composer repository internally. So all of our own libraries and stuff are also composable.
That's great. I do the same thing with my work, and I know Packagist, etc. Yeah, Composer is a great tool. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So we're right now we're building at 5.4. We should get approval to move to 5.5.
Right.
Very, very shortly. So if unless I just don't get my way, we'll be releasing on 5.5.
Okay, great. Yeah, 5.5.10 and 5.6 Alpha 3 is released, and yeah, PHP is really great.
The direction the company is taking it is they're looking to create a network along the lines of like the Gawker network, multiple different properties covering politics in different
spectrums.
in different regions in the country. So the first property that we added to our portfolio is this one called Capital New York. They cover politics in New York City and in Albany.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, that makes sense.
Right. At that website, that is the Drupal website.
Oh, okay.
When this new platform that we're building is ready for release, then that Capital New York will be migrated onto that platform. In the meantime, it needs to be maintained. The Drupal platform needs to be maintained.
Right. That's more along of the lines that I prefer to work with Drupal.
So we have a commitment, and I actually just got these numbers yesterday. We have a commitment of 50 hours of development time per month. For that site. So, and the PHP team is 5 people. So, we try to spread shit like that out pretty. Sorry, I don't mean to.
Okay.
I have potty now.
That's
because
fine.
to try and spread that stuff out among developers. So it probably wouldn't be more than like a few hours a month.
Yeah. So it sounds good. Yeah, Drupal is just a very hard platform to actually run with. So that's nice to be interviewing with a company. I don't know if you guys are based in DC or New York. You're calling from a DC number, which.
Yeah, we're actually. We're in Virginia right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but I mean, right across the river, you can see the monuments from our window.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right now, I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Until I actually find a position, I would self-fund myself to relocate on site if needed. But basically, you mentioned 50 hours of development time per month for the Drupal site, and overall, you're looking for a contract position, right? On a 12-month position. Great. Yeah, I would love to be part of a team that is actually building out their own PHP-based purely library, especially with it being organized around Composer and packages. That sounds very clean and organized. Yeah, I'm a fan of it so far.
Okay, so you have any questions? No, I mean, the resume looks good. I mean, you've worked with CakePHP, right? MongoDB. And by the way, we're using the Symfony framework, Symfony 2, for our CMS, and then most of our services are built using Silex.
Yeah, great. I love Silex. In fact, yeah, I've built quite a few adapters with Silex and service providers just in-house.
And then I guess you also mentioned that you would like to work with like Backbone.js, right? Power.
Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, what we're doing here at Bootstrap, that's it's distracted CMS. That's pretty much what we're trying to do here. So.
Okay. Yeah, AngularJS. The development team is really working on that. It seems an effort, and my friend uses Angular, but I've attempted some Backbone stuff, and I definitely agree with it. And I think you mentioned Twitter Bootstrap. Yeah, my somewhat of a business partner, I guess, is a fan of Grunt and Bower and all those front end technologies, and has somewhat gotten me into that process. And that's just along the lines of Backbone and Angular, very modern front-end development tactics that are very exciting to be working with. So yeah, along the lines of working on something like that, I would absolutely love that, especially on a PHP-based platform. I know there's a lot of other languages out there, and I mean, I deal with them, but mainly on the server sides. And overall, my whole life, I've been a PHP developer and just love PHP. Pretty much anything internal-wise, even C extension development, PHPIs. I deal with PHP, and also services like HA Proxy are great for scaling PHP applications, and pretty much anything on the server side, I'm a very capable person with. You said your team is 5 PHP developers?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we probably have like still, I think 5 Code Fusion developers, and then 6. And then obviously we have dedicated designers and a front-end developer too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Have you done any unit testing? PHP, JavaScript?
Yeah, JS unit and PHP unit. I do use PHP unit. Not anything in production, but there's a nice, great project out there called PHP Visual Unit, or Visual PHP Unit. And it's a great front-end management tool at PHP Unit GUI built in Twitter Bootstrap. And it's a great way, it looks like, to manage and combine in with PHP doc, perhaps. Of course, I've done unit testing, but I really haven't built production projects the last 2 years, probably. since my root zoo engagement, where I would be able to really have anything live on PHP Unit to show. Do you guys use it right now, or is it something that you want to be using and implementing?
No, that's pretty much, it's a must at this point.
It is a must. That's what I would imagine. I mean, that's what I'm also looking to have.
I have no doubt that, it would take you like seconds to get up to speed. I mean, it's, we just basically make sure that any code we deploy, it's testable and
right, and it's 1 or 0 outcomes essentially, right? The way it works. So yeah, I would have to be using PHP Unit as well, and JS Unit. I actually haven't used, but my business partner has used, yeah, JavaScript is something that I definitely want to get into a lot more. I mean, back in the jQuery days. Oh, and you mentioned Cake PHP. Yeah, I've been a user of Cake PHP since 2005, back when it came out, 1.3 or so, maybe even 1.1 if that was a version. But yeah, something. I mean, I want to work with a company that is building out a very repeatable, flexible, scalable architecture, and unit testing is absolutely a part of that. And PHP Unit is great. What about documentation? There's a few different tools out there. PHP Doc is what I've always used or written it in.
We do require PHP Doc tags. Currently,
right.
We do all of our documentation generation as part of our continuous integration process. So
okay.
When code gets checked into the integration branch, we generate documentation at that time. And we do that using a tool called Apijet. I have been evaluating PHP Docs.
Interesting. Yeah.
Lately, which I think we'll switch to. I just haven't gotten around to doing that, but they're
right.
They're all like the old PHP Doc specification compatible.
Yeah, most of it does look compatible with each other. What do you guys use for continuous integration? I'm familiar with Jenkins and Travis CI. I haven't really standardized on either myself, but Jenkins looks very powerful.
Yeah, we use a tool called Bamboo. It's a commercial product by Atlassian. Very, very similar to Jenkins.
Right, yeah, Jira. Okay, awesome. Very cool. Very nice.
So, I was actually just looking at the Visual PHP.
Yeah, I've never heard about it. Visual PHP.
Oh, which one?
Visual PHP Unit? I never even heard of it. That's cool.
Oh, Visual PHP Unit is quite awesome, yeah.
Yeah, play with that.
It's pretty new.
So, and then I guess you work with Vagrant. That's awesome. That's what you're using here.
Yeah, I do work with Vagrant, including the latest Docker container technologies. I'm not sure if you've heard of Docker. It's an interesting project. They haven't reached 1.0 yet, but yeah, I use Vagrant. I'm on OS X. I'm more of a Linux guy, but yeah, Vagrant's wonderful for sharing and porting boxes.
You mentioned earlier HA proxy. Have you ever worked with Varnish?
Yeah, I have worked with Varnish and pretty much any type of proxy, reverse proxy, or network stack. Varnish is great for specific things, mainly Drupal and WordPress. Actually, no, though. I haven't worked deeply with Varnish. I've worked with reverse squid proxies. I'm primarily a squid user. But regarding Vagrant, I know Packer is a GitHub project to generate your own Vagrant box images, which I guess there's a concern out there with the reputability of many of the default Vagrant boxes that you could use. But
yeah.
So that, yeah, pretty much anything and everything on the server side I'm a big fan of. Vagrant's pretty cool, and definitely something to do. You guys use it?
We do, actually, yeah. We have we have a development VM image that our systems engineers built that is not a perfect replica of one of our AMIs, but pretty close. So it's kind of, it's obviously we don't have in the real world, we don't have Mongo and MySQL stuff sitting on the same servers, but
right.
It's a nice little package, and we manage it with Vagrant, and it's a nice little development environment. I actually work in Linux, so I'm running the Linux VM inside my Linux.
Yeah, typically me too.
So
I just have a MacBook Pro.
The VM, but it's actually it's a headed VM, so it comes
right.
with X Windows, and you can launch PHP Storm right in
yep.
it.
Oh wow, yeah, PHP Storm is pretty impressive. Quite a bit. Regarding the virtualization and headless technologies, I'm not sure are you guys familiar with OpenStack? Yeah, me too. And I had a data center with my MI2 Holdings company project. And OpenStack's great and everything, I guess, since the industry has adopted it so much. Yeah, for small stack internal on your machine development, Vagrant is an ideal solution. Just a note on the virtualization stuff. Zen.org, xen.org. I do a lot of work with Zen Hypervisor and XL, Zen API internals. So, and the DOM0, DOM-U images, that can be great for. I mean, it's a emerging technology with the pair virtualization and everything, but that can definitely be a flexible. I guess if your internal development team scales past Vagrant in terms of effectiveness, so you could build a really nice on-premise, small, physical footprint cloud with Zen or OpenStack. But anyway, yeah, basically to keep it simple, I do a lot of clustering, so I kind of grew out of Vagrant, but actually growing back into Vagrant now that I'm actually trying to work on concise, defined projects such as this, especially when you're in a team environment. So.
So I think you had until 10:30. Do you have any questions for us?
Well, how's your search gone? I believe I came across this in Manhattan on Craigslist. And the availability date posted was January 1st, 2013. So that may be a typo, but how's your search gone? And how?
It's been difficult. The upside of using all of this, the kind of more modern PHP ecosystem is, obviously you have a much better architected software.
Right.
And it's future-proof and it's awesome.
Right.
The downside is a lot of the PHP developers out there have no clue.
Absolutely. Agreed, and that's kind of why I asked the question to see how I fit in so far with.
A lot of times we do these initial half-hour interviews, and we talk to people and they've never heard of Composer, and they've never heard of PHP Unit, and they don't know what versions of PHP they've worked with in the past.
Yeah.
It says to me, I've only written PHP for hosted environments and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
There's like a very small. We're kind of looking for people in this very small subset of the PHP world.
Good. That's great. My Pair account, I believe, was actually founded in 2001. Just to go back,
Right.
in terms of how long I've been involved with PHP. I'm not a developer of PHP, but I've used PHP my entire life and have considered becoming part of the development team itself. But good. I'm glad to see that. I mean, most companies on my end, most companies that I speak to have no idea either of what you're saying, that the people that you talk to in the initial half hour don't know. Or
we made it a little difficult for ourselves, but I think it's worth it.
Same here.
Well, that way we don't want to end up having to re-implement this whole thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. How many AWS images do you have? Like, I'm a definite fan of Ganglia, Munin, Nagios, and Actually, I collaborate a bit with a project called xcat.org, XCAT. Egan Ford is the developer of that, but it's actually what IBM PureFlex uses in all of their clustering systems. But so anytime that you grow out of AWS, I would also be a great candidate to help with that or alongside of that. But
our AWS footprint, and I'm just kind of guessing, we actually do have two systems engineers that maintain all the infrastructure.
Okay, great.
But, yeah, I think in our development environment, we have two front end images, two servers images, and 3 data images. So, and CLDs, and yeah, it's our smallest environment. Obviously, is our integration environment. It's maybe 13.
Okay, great. That's a nice size. Yeah.
Together. Yeah, it's designed to auto scale.
Right.
We're actually doing our first infrastructure smoke test today, so
great.
We're opening up the floodgates from Akamai, and we're just gonna
wow.
just hammer our new environment to see how it holds up.
And the billing on that, AWS is expensive compared to physical hardware, in my opinion. But
no, we're the test that we're doing is returning a very small amount of data. So
okay, cool. Well, I guess that's outside of scope anyway. So regarding the PHP, I'm in the strong market to find an employer, and I've filled up the rest of this week somewhat with interviews of less exciting environments. I'm expecting more so like boutique agencies, which are not exciting. Yeah, what's your search urgency like, or interest in me, and what location are we talking? Is this a remote interest or on-site interest? Arlington and McLean, Virginia area, I would not have a problem with being on-site either.
Actually, I would leave that up to you. We're certainly open to remote. That's not a big problem. On-site is also fantastic. We've got a couple little spots in our little room here.
Sounds good.
We're looking for someone who's available. You know, we're underway, and we're looking for people that can jump in and start helping us faster. So
yeah, that sounds great. I would love to be a part of this team. Salary-wise, I guess my expectation is around 80,000, which is actually low in the market, I think. Yeah, I'm looking for an engagement as well, and most importantly, it's the team and product that I'm working on. So the 12-month engagement really sounds quite wonderful, and I'm not specific on time. The longer, the better. But I'm looking for a loyal company to work for, and Politico sounds like a good opportunity with the architecture that you guys are building out.
Yeah, it's a good group too. So let me tell you before we let you go, we'll schedule a follow-up, and then usually we do this interview, then we do a follow-up interview, and then we do like a longer form interview with probably with Mike or Ryan. Mike is the executive director of technology here, and then Ryan is the CTO.
Okay.
And obviously they make the final hiring decisions, and they're the ones who talk about money and all that kind of stuff. So,
perfect.
I'll get you scheduled for a follow-up with some of the other people on the team.
Sure. That would be great.
I don't know what your availability is for this week, but maybe tomorrow or early next week.
Tomorrow would be fine. Early next week is also great. Pretty much as fast as you guys are wanting to go or can. Should be fine. Absolutely.
I'll get that set up, and I'll be in touch with you by email.
Okay.
To do that.
Great.
And, great. I'll let you go. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, it was wonderful talking with everyone here as well, and thanks, Samantha, for scheduling in today. And great, guys. I will look forward to talking with you, and this was a fun conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Sure.